debt ceiling by May 16th. Joining us now with more on what we can expect this week in Congress is Stephen Dennis, a reporter with Roll Call. Stephen, good morning to you.
Great to be here.
Let's start with sort of what they were bantering about on the talk shows yesterday, and debt ceiling, of course, one of them, also Libya, one of them as well. Let's start with the budget, still a hot topic, and now we have a real date on when we're going to reach the existing debt ceiling.
Right, $14.3 trillion, a lot of money. We're already over $14.2 trillion. So we're talking about a few weeks here. When Congress comes back next week, they're going to have to really quickly figure out what to do. The Treasury Secretary has said that he has some leeway to sort of move some accounts around and maybe get us through July 4th, or to July 8th. But, you know, that's not really a situation you want to be in, where you're sort of juggling your retirement books and your different books just so that you can pay your bills. And it's sort of an embarrassing situation to be with it as a country. And the real question is, you know, what kind of, people are demanding to have some kind of budget cuts on top of it. If they're going to vote for $1 trillion in more debt or $2 trillion in more debt, they want to have some kind of sense that this is not going to be, we're not going to see $20 trillion in more debt. And right now that's hard to agree on. How do you put those limits? Some Republicans want a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution. Well, you can't get that through in time, and you don't have the votes for it. So what do you put on that? And it looks like there's going to be some spending caps included, but, that's sort of all the fun on Capitol Hill is what is the cap going to be and what happens if you don't meet it.
Also, a lot of the talk was about what are we doing in Libya? What is the strategy in Libya? And we heard Senator McCain talk about it as well.
I mean, Senator McCain, I think the fact that he went to Libya, went to Benghazi, really put a spotlight on the situation there, which is a muddled situation. He said that it could become a stalemate, and that really, I think, is going to, as long as that situation doesn't look like it's going to resolve on its own, it forces Congress to take a closer look at it. A lot of senators wanted to avoid this debate. They didn't want to vote on it. We've been in Libya a while now, and Congress has not voted. There have been attempts to force Congress to take a position, yes or no, but at some point, it looks like the Senate and the House are going to actually have to debate whether we should be there, what our mission should be, how we're going to fund it. They haven't done any of that. Normally, you vote before you go into war. Now we're going to have this vote in the middle of the stream. It's going to be interesting to see because you have people on both sides in both parties. John McCain wants us to, arm the Libyans and help them in a much more robust way than we are doing now. You've got many other Republicans who say, hey, Libya is not a vital interest of the United States. It's not our responsibility to be the policemen of the world and intervene in other people's civil wars. So that's going to be a very interesting debate. You've got the same split on the Democratic side. So that'll be very interesting. And then, of course, we've got scandal,
right?
Which, of course, Washington is going to be talking about this week with the aftermath of Senator John Ensign resigning.
And they're going to have to find a replacement also. Surprising that he chose to step down now before this investigation into ethics?
Well, this investigation's been going on for 22 months. So it's not like it's brand new. And it's been accelerating in the past few months. I think what is surprising is that he didn't resign a month ago. A month ago he announced he wasn't going to run for re-election. He said, he basically said, hey, if I was worried about the ethics investigation, I would just resign. Well, apparently he is worried now,
right.
Because it looked like it was about to, after 2 years, which is an incredibly long time for what's not that complicated a case, and from the outside, he was about to have to come in and give a deposition and face a public trial like Charlie Rangel faced last year. And unlike Charlie Rangel's case, which was about books and accounting, this was going to be a lot more salacious.
Right.
Details of his affair with his staffer and payments to her family, and it was going to be very messy and very ugly. And, I guess at some point he decided he just wasn't going to do it anymore.
We'll be watching those stories and many more on the Hill this week. Stephen Dennis is a reporter with Roll Call. Thanks for coming in today.
It's great to be here.
Tony, over to you.
All right, thank you very much. 7:40 now. Coming up next, we'll go back out live to the White House where the Easter egg roll is just